I'm Julian Ackley, and this is a quick video on the transit Sun opposite Pluto. And I just want to start with a reminder that in order to understand what impact a transit will have, you have to consider what is going on in a person's life and in them to begin with. Because it's like if a situation is really on edge, a transit can push it over the edge. If things are pretty stable, then a transit is not going to be have the same disastrous impact. Like Lincoln, he got shot when he was having like a crazy transit, but lots of other people have that transit, but they don't get assassinated because they're not the president of, a divided nation that recently fought a civil war. And so that makes their assassination less likely. So that's like one thing to consider, is that astrology is just a study of how one layer of things, time, impacts us. It's not an omniscient art that can tell you exactly what's going on in your life and what will happen. Okay, now another thing that I need to say before I tell you about Sun opposite Pluto is that one thing you want to consider with shorter transits like the Sun opposite Pluto is that what impact they have depends on whether or not they're lining up with larger transits. For example, when the Sun or even other planets, when they all align themselves with the transit that's already taken place, a longer transit, then that can be the time when the shit hits the fan, Like if you've got a major situation caused by a long-term transit and then short-term transits sweep in to put added pressure on it, then, that's like when you might get assassinated or whatever is going to happen. Maybe it'll be something good, like you win the lottery. Anyway, probably more likely to get assassinated, but either way. So that's another thing to consider. So having said that, what is the impact of Sun opposite Pluto? Well, for starters, anytime Pluto comes in, we're looking at things like violence, perversion, darkness, intensity, and also generally the guts of something being exposed so that they can finally be dealt with. So it can be a regenerating force, really, because it forces the underlying problems to be dealt with, basically. But Sun opposing Pluto isn't a major transit in itself, but it can mean things like, for one, you are more likely to be a victim of violence, so you do want to stay away from dangerous people in neighborhoods at this time. Secondly, I don't totally understand why this is the case, but it has proven to be true in my experience that technical things will tend to break down at this point. Like if you have some piece of technology or a program or whatever that's not like this hanging on the edge, this might be when it takes its last breath and has to be like really repaired. And the same thing happens in relationships because oppositions are generally about relationships. So this can be a time when the underlying problems in a relationship they come to the surface and you have to actually deal with them. And if you do deal with them, then it could be a time when a relationship is renewed. So I hope that you actually have the guts to deal with it because Pluto rewards guts. What else? It can be a time in general when situations in your life come to a head and you either like achieve victory on things that you started 6 months ago or complete and utter failure. That's all I have to say about the Sun opposite Pluto. Obviously, you would get more specifics by knowing in which houses this transit is taking place and what else is going on in your chart and what's going on in your life. So I'm Julian Ackley, and this was Sun opposite Pluto transit. Thank you. Bye.